special solo podcast, which I've not done since the pandemic. It's kind of fun, just you and me. Next week, we'll settle back into our normal groove with everybody back together. But in the meantime, because of scheduling issues and stuff like that, this will be you and me. And I'll mix in a little dystopian film that I've always wanted to do and to revisit, Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, also known in some markets as Mad Max 3. This film came out July 10th, 1985, 41 years ago. As with all the other films in the franchise, this was co-written by George Miller, and he actually co-directed this one with George Ogilvy. So a little backstory about George Miller. He was actually an emergency room doctor who walked away from the profession to become a filmmaker. He made the original Mad Max on virtually no budget, a shoestring budget, and featuring a very young and unknown Mel Gibson. That film became a huge worldwide hit, and at one point it was listed as the most profitable film ever made, as it grossed nearly $100 million worldwide at the box office on a pretty small budget. I think it was $250,000, something like that. So very profitable film. That led to Mad Max 2, which was known here in the States as The Road Warrior. And that film featured higher production values, more ambitious chase scenes, and also became a big hit, grossing around similar money as the first film. We've podcasted over that one. I'll include a link to that on this page. You can check that one out too. So this film, Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, continues the trend of like bigger budget. It's more ambitious in terms of plot. It's more cinematic. It's more sweeping. It just every movie that he makes in this series becomes more movie, and that continues on with Mad Max Fury Road. Gets more money, more budget. He hires a more veteran cast and crew. This film, Thunderdome, actually pairs up Mel Gibson with another star, in this case, Tina Turner, who at this point was probably one of the top entertainers in the world. 1985. She was at the peak of her game, and she appears here as the film's antagonist, Auntie Entity. And so she runs a post-apocalyptic, almost like a rundown Vegas kind of place where everybody comes to do business and gamble and just have a good time. And so by this point in the story, this third film, we're kind of on the Mad Max template. It's kind of settled into a formula. We begin with Mad Max as this weary, burned out nomad in the desert, post-apocalyptic, post-nuclear world, where nothing of civilization remains. Everything is kind of a hollowed out husk of what it used to be. And in all of these films, Mad Max runs afoul of some biker warlord, some evil gang that's bent on hoarding gasoline, hoarding water, hoarding food, whatever precious resource that they can, and which puts them against usually a group of innocent civilians. In this case, it's a group of children who live in a kind of a Lord of the Flies / Swiss Family Robinson oasis in the desert. And so usually this confrontation between good and evil puts Max in a spot to where he has to rediscover his humanity and fight for the good guys and get back a little piece of who he was before the world fell into chaos. Watching this movie as a kid, I was a fan of it, but it's also my least favorite of the original trilogy of Mad Max films. Watching it this time, I still hold that opinion, but I find more and more things to enjoy about it. It works better in pieces than it does as a whole. The biggest thing I think that works against the film is that of the Mad Max movies, especially the original trilogy, this one is the most stationary. You have two big set pieces that the film kind of settles into. The first half takes place at Bartertown. Again, it's kind of a nasty, muddy, mucky Las Vegas type place, and which also contains the Thunderdome of the title, where Gibson has to fight his way out to freedom. And then the second half, you get the lost children, the lost boys, whatever, the Neverland environment, the oasis that Max stumbles into, and who the kids believe he's some kind of a savior meant to deliver them to some faraway civilization. So these two places kind of bring the movie to a standstill. And the Mad Max franchise does best when it's on the run, does best when it's on the road. It's a high speed. And a lot of this movie spends a lot of its time standing still. So kind of works against the spirit of the movie. And if there's a structural flaw of the movie, it's that. It's, people who go into this movie looking for the same nonstop kinetic energy of Mad Max 1 and 2 might be a little bit disappointed. That being said, it's also the best looking of the three films. Being similar, the award-winning cinematographer comes back, gives the movie a great look. There's incredible, almost Lawrence of Arabia style shots of the desert. This is the most desert centric of all the Mad Max films. The shots in the Oasis with the kids are amazing. Thunderdome is choreographed incredibly. The fight scenes there are amazing. Maurice Jarre, who actually did the music to Lawrence of Arabia, does the music here, replacing Brian May from the earlier films. He incorporates some of the things, but he also does a lot of big, lush, romantic themes that are quite impressive. They really add an extra layer of cinematic grandeur to the film that you didn't see in the earlier movies. So in that way, in terms of look and feel, the movie is great. Mel Gibson is awesome. Playing the even more burned out version of Max, older, more weary, more disconnected. He does really well with that type of character. It's almost like a forerunner to him playing Riggs in Lethal Weapon, just a guy who's basically given up. And so he has a great arc where he learns to live again, learns to find humanity again. Tina Turner is great as the villain. She's not so much a natural actress as she is a force of personality. She fills the screen. She holds our attention. You can see why she's such a great performer on stage. That translates really well to the screen here. She's always interesting to watch. And so in those ways, the movie works really well. The chase scene at the end, it's just classic Mad Max. It's a classic, just free for all out on the desert. So it's fun to watch. This one actually incorporates trains and, planes and other things that you don't see in the earlier films. But that being said, George Miller has said that his partner, Byron Kennedy, was killed in a plane crash. His filmmaking partner, who helped develop the Mad Max franchise, was killed in a helicopter crash prior to this film. And in the process of grieving, George Miller has said that his heart wasn't in this one as much. That's why he turned to a co-director to help him finish it. And it kind of shows in the finished project. This doesn't have the same spirit and energy of the first two. It doesn't have the same life. And it just that kind of radiates through the production. You can kind of tell that he just wasn't feeling this one as much. And so that one also kind of drags it down. But in the end, it's a fun movie. If you like the other two, I would give this one a 7. I'd give the first film an 8. I'd give the Road Warrior Mad Max 2 a 9.5. I'd give Fury Road a 10. I'd give Furiosa a solid 8. So this one is, by that scale, the least of the entire franchise, but it's also pretty good. So even bad Mad Max is like pizza. Even bad Mad Max is still pretty good. So I would suggest checking it out, especially if you're looking for kind of a fun, weird energy experience that is, like the rest of the franchise. It's never boring. It's never dull. It's a compelling, unique cinematic experience. So I'm glad I went back and rewatched it. I'm glad I got to experience it. It's improved a little bit over the years for me. And now I want to go back and do Fury Road. I want to go back and experience some more of the franchise. So anyway, this has been another episode of Cinema Vino, and I want you to come back and join us next week. We'll be back in our groove with Zardoz, starring Sean Connery. So great movies, only drunker, and we will see you guys then.